We have several non-Muslims who have revered and praised our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. We have the example of Michael H. Hart. He writes in his book, The 100 Most Influential Human Beings on the Face of the Earth. And out of all the human beings in human history, he gives our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the number one position. Michael H. Hart, being a non-Muslim, being a Christian, he ranks our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the number one. He gives him the number one position out of all the people in human history. And he gives his reasoning and he says that Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, he was the only human being who was supremely successful on both fronts, the religious front as well as the secular front. We have other non-Muslims who have revered and praised our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. We have the example of Lamartine. He says that if greatness of purpose, smallness of means, and astounding results are the three criteria to judge a man's genius, who can dare to compare himself to Muhammad? Referring to Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. And Lamartine, he says that he is a philosopher, an orator, a warrior, a legislator, an apostle, the conqueror of ideas, the restorer of rational dogma for a cult without imagery, the conqueror of 20 earthly empires and one spiritual empire. This is Muhammad. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon him. This is Lamartine, being a non-Muslim. He's praising our beloved Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He's describing him with so many qualities. We have the example of Edward Gibbon, a famous British historian. He says, the greatest success of Muhammad's life, it was affected by sheer moral force without the stroke of a sword. So we realize non-Muslims, they have praised and revered our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. As far as today's talk is concerned, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the liberator of humanity, I have divided it into 5 subtopics. The first is the hikmah, the wisdom of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. The second is how the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, dealt with children. The third is how the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, liberated the Arabs from darkness to light. The fourth is how the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, as a da'i. And the fifth is Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, as al-Amin, that is the trustworthy. First we'll discuss the Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him, the wisdom, the hikmah of our beloved Prophet Muhammad, may peace and blessings be upon him. The Prophet, peace be upon him, he fought against oppression and injustice. This was in the period of Medina, wherein the wars took place. But the first 13 years of prophethood in the Meccan period, even though the Prophet and the Sahaba, they were tortured and persecuted, yet they bore it with patience. They had sabr, that is patience. They did not retaliate. The Prophet, peace be upon him, he knew that these are the early stages of da'wah, of propagating the message of Islam. So the approach was to be patient. The Muslims, they were few in number. So the test for the Sahaba was to be patient. And there are several incidences wherein the Prophet and the Sahaba, they were tortured and persecuted, but they did not give up on Islam. They bore it with patience.